Hi, in this video we're going to be exploring the answer to the question, how can you help somebody with a negative mindset? Oftentimes we know somebody, we might even have somebody in our family, if we're a parent, it could be a child, teenage years in particular, they can be negative. So how can we help them? It doesn't matter whether it's a child, coworker, anybody else. Negative mindsets can become contagious and really detrimental to groups dynamics. So how can we help them change? That's what we'll be exploring today. So stay tuned. So in the first part of this video, we want to look at what the signs are that somebody really exhibits negative thinking patterns. Then we're going to look at how communication can impact that negative or positive mindset. We're going to be looking at some techniques behind helping them develop that positive mindset. And we're going to be looking at how to get a positive environment surrounding them to really kind of tie it all together and really make it lasting a long time. And of course, we're going to look at the importance and practical results of somebody who has a positive mindset. All right, so recognizing the signs. Well, obviously there are some very obvious ones. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I stink. Oh, I'm stupid. Right? I mean, there's some obvious ones. And then there are ones where the person's always saying what can go wrong. Are you sure you want to try that? This could happen. Oh, do we really? I don't know. That seems so, right? They're constantly saying things that take the wind out of other people's sails. But you also see it a lot in body language, right? So shoulders tend to be drooped. People will tend to shuffle a little bit more, right? They don't move quite as fast. Their eyes tend to be going down more. Their handshakes aren't quite as firm. Their breathing is a little more rapid and higher up in their chest. All right. So being on tune for some of those body language signals. And then, of course, there can be some changes in behavior, right? Withdrawing from things you used to do, right? Some changing in activity, changing in what you might even be viewing or listening to. Music changes from less upbeat now to maybe more melancholy. Change in the shows that you might be watching. Again, those can be subtle signs to people who have developed or developing a negative mindset. Now, those who have it, you usually can spot that pretty clearly, right? So I want to just kind of briefly mention effective communication. And one of the biggest things you can do is learn how to ask questions of these people who are spouting off negative things, right? Who are showing negativity. You really want to look for opportunities to ask them, like a simple question like this: how do you do that? Do what? See everything that can go wrong. I mean, like, you're really good at it. Like you can hear something, you immediately can say all these things that might go wrong. Like, how do you do that? When you ask a question that's process oriented like that, you've interrupted the negative pattern because they don't know how they do it. So they have to go inside to do that. And once you kind of see them kind of go, then you could say something like, because if you ever adopted that to like things that could go well, and like, oh, being able to see all the positive things that you could do and accomplish, wow, that would be like, that would be awesome for you. If your excitement as well, so your body language as well, you model this with your own communication. Okay, that's how you can begin to use communication. When you give feedback, you want to focus on things that are process oriented, about how hard they worked, how they were able to think outside the box. You want to reinforce when they do say something positive, like, oh, thank you for that. That was such a positive feedback for me. Thank you. Right? So your communication needs to be positive, but one of the most powerful and simplest things to do is begin to ask questions that gets them to try to figure out how they are doing the negative behavior, because they won't know. And once you've done that, you've interrupted the pattern, and it opens you an opportunity to maybe say, boy, if you ever applied that to thinking about the good things, wow. And you've interrupted the pattern, give it a positive suggestion. So beyond that and making some, positive communication, you can begin to try to get these people involved in doing some practical things like exercising more, changing their body language, changing their posture, trying some breathing techniques. Simple ones like, hey, just deep sigh. Yeah, that's it. Right? Just simple things like that. Now, depending on the relationships you would have with this person, right? It may go over really well. You may have to be a little more subtle, more careful about it. But you encourage things like doing mindfulness. Bring them along for when you're going to go meditate, when you're going to practice your own mindfulness. Go for a walk with them at lunchtime. Try to get some exercise, right? Depending on your relationship, you want to encourage these practical applications of things that will encourage positive mindset. So this idea of having a supportive environment is it's about the people as well, right? So you want to get positive people around a negative person. You really want to try to, these people that you know who are negative, you want to get them surrounded by positive. One of the great studies from the Framingham study in Massachusetts, Framingham, Massachusetts, study was done. It was actually the original study. It's fascinating because it was a medical study, but some researchers went back to look at the data, and what they found was that positive emotions spread through groups, right? So it goes from you to your inner circle, and from your inner circle to its inner circle, and sometimes even their inner circle. But usually your inner circle to the next inner circle. Negativity also spreads, and negativity is a stronger influence spreading. So it's really important to get positive people and not too many negative. You got to have more positive people around them as part of that supportive environment. Another thing that Framingham study, what they found is that negativity spreads through women. All right. So when women are negative, they have negative influence on the people around them. When men were negative, they didn't have that same influence. So if you have a negative woman, it's that much more important to get a lot of people around that person who are positive. And then there's things like music. What music are you playing, or do you play, or do you listen to? What about some of the things that are on the walls, the artwork, and do you have posters with positive sayings, right? This is all ways that you can have to foster a positive environment around them. Okay, positive people, uh, positive sayings, affirmations, music, all these kind of things that are upbeat and uplifting. It's really important to develop that culturally within your organization, your group, your family. So let me tell you about Johnny. All right, it's not his real name, but he was a student, about the most negative kid I had ever come across, and nothing positive ever came out of his mouth. Not only about him, but everything that could go wrong would go wrong. It was depressing to be around him. We talk about negativity, right? And I just said women usually spread it. I don't know. He might have been a counterexample because it was tough. It was tough being around him. Well, there was a magazine drive that the school did every year, fundraising, right? Now, being a door-to-door salesperson can be fraught with rejection, right? And they don't ever encourage kids to go door to door for lots of reasons. You're only supposed to do this within your family circle. Well, Johnny wanted the electric scooter that was the prize for selling like the most magazines. Now, again, this is the most negative kid I've ever met. Like, he can't do anything ever, right? Handling rejection is not Johnny's strength. But Boy, did he want that scooter. Now, we as a staff who worked with Johnny weren't supposed to encourage going door to door. However, was encouraging thinking positive all the time. We had been doing that like all year. We've been doing that. It was finally beginning to take root. Johnny went out, and guess what happened? And some of the things we told him to do, like, listen, repeat these positive words every time. Whenever somebody says no, it's like, oh, all right, one door closed. They weren't an ideal customer anyways. I'm going to go find the ideal customer. I'm going to go, this next one's going to get me that scooter. Little things like that. Repeat those over and over. Johnny, just, when you go, just repeat them over and over. I think you probably know, because I'm telling the story, what the end result was. Johnny got the electric scooter. Johnny sold the most magazines, which to me, like, just really showed the power of finally trying to interrupt some of those negative patterns and apply some of these tips we go over about being positive. I encourage you to subscribe to our channel, check out our other videos, but you also may want to check out our webinar, particularly for this, goes right along with this video. It's Empower Yourself to Excel in Academics, Athletics, the Arts, and Life. And that webinar is all about how you can structure your language to help influence people's mindset, in particular, shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So check out that webinar today. The link will be in the description for this video.